back to you. All right, let's start pulling back. So yeah, in your yard, this is all, we're in the clay tile now. So
where's the clay tile?
So that's what we're in right now.
But I mean, that's right here?
No, so this is at the tap. So we're coming back from that manhole cover.
From zero back there.
Yeah, where's the street? Here?
No, the street's that way.
That way, yeah. So we were just in that manhole cover. We're now pulling back from there. So
the feet's not moving.
It will as I pull back. See how it adds up? Now we're at 3.
Yeah, the feet hasn't changed here. We're
Oh,
still
it
at
just say
0.
Okay, on mine, it says -3.
That's all right.
Yeah. It'll save once we get the video, but we're at -3 right now, so we're 3 feet away from the tap. This is all clay. It looks good to me. As you can see, we got a little bit of water sitting in the bottom of the pipe. That means that our pitch is probably pretty close to level. Over time, pipes like to settle, and so, but
I can see water flowing through it.
Exactly, and that's what I look for. I look to make sure we got water hitting the tap.
Are there water still running?
I turned all the water off.
Okay.
I like to have it off so we can see
but there's water still running a little bit.
It's probably just kind of residual.
Yeah, okay.
But this all looks good. Low spots aren't the end of the world. So every 10 feet we have a fitting where it's a new piece of pipe. So see there on the left, you kind of get that kind of crescent shape there.
Right.
That's so every 10 feet is a stick of pipe and they get connected. Over time, they can kind of shift a little bit like this. We call them offsets. Offsets also aren't the end of the world. The second we start getting kind of a bottom offset, when we're flowing this way and stuff starts getting stuck, that's a different conversation. But this looks just to be a little bit on the left side there, so I'm not too worried about that. Something I've noticed is that we have a pretty consistent like belly in the bottom where we're kind of holding water there. Also not the end of the world, but just something to keep an eye on. This clay looks very good though.
So what our responsibility is how far out?
Your responsibility is, well, I've seen it handled a couple different ways. Some cities will do pretty much up to the sidewalk is your responsibility, and anything past there is the city's. I've seen it kind of on a case-by-case basis change. Some places will be like, it's your responsibility all the way to the tap, but then you're in the city street at that point. So,
but it's never the city responsibility up to ours.
I've seen that. I've seen where I have the connection from, say, your line to the tap has been offset, like we just talked about, and it's in the street. And I've seen the city take care of that
all the way up to
the sidewalk. But I've also seen it go the other way, where the city tries to pull a fast one, and so it really is a case by case basis. But this clay is looking good to me. We're 8 feet away from the tap now. I'll kind of keep you updated with the distance.
So we're still in the street.
So we're probably
getting
pretty close to your sidewalk, yeah. I mean, 10 feet, yeah, we're probably...
And is this, can you tell, is it going under our lawn or under our driveway?
It's hard to tell. What we can do is we can kind of locate where it leaves and mark it in the yard. Because that's another thing to think about for sure.
Well, easier to tear up the lawn
than
the driveway.
Well, let's not think about that. I think this is looking good so far in the yard. I'm pretty happy with this clay here. Like I said, we do have this water kind of sitting in the bottom, which means we're pretty close to having 0 pitch, which is flat. But as you can see, all that water is still moving towards the tap. So... we're 13 feet away from the tap, so we were probably pretty close to under that sidewalk or the curb. See how we have a pretty consistent water sitting in the bottom there.
So something's coming up on the right. That's just a connection.
That's another connection. Tiny little offset there, but like I said, it's on the side. So those connections over time definitely shift a little bit. Anytime my camera goes completely underwater,
it's an issue.
I don't like that. Yeah, we're getting pretty close there, but looking at the the pipe, it's looking really good to me. I just think our pitch is has settled a little bit over time.
Is it good to flush extra water down sometimes?
Absolutely. I always say water your pipes. I think running water is
Like flushing your toilet?
flushing toilets, leaving your kitchen sink on after you're done cooking.
For how long?
A couple minutes. And especially like with toilets, if you walk by, you're like, I haven't flushed that toilet in a while. Give it a flush. I always say water your pipes. People think it's funny to say, but
Yeah.
it helps. We're still in the clay here. I think the clay looks fantastic.
Yeah, you know, you hate to run extra water now with the shortage.
Oh yeah, but
But
that's the other thing. I've been seeing more and more backups this year because of the drought, because roots and trees and bushes, they're all looking for nutrients, but there's no water in the soil. So the next closest water is in the sewer line. So we've been getting a lot of root clogs from roots needing nutrients. But here we can really see the full pipe, and it looks solid. The bottom, I always look at the bottom middle to see if we have any like cavities or bellies.
What's the dark there? That's just
Kind of in the bottom there.
you know, yeah, okay, right there, like that's dark.
Straight ahead.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the light doesn't shine.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, more of just a shadow.
Like where the light doesn't shine.
Yeah, exactly. That connection looks good. See a little crescent offset there, but as you can see, there's no offset on the bottom, which is what we like. Yeah, I think this clay looks great. I'm curious to take a deeper look at this cast iron under the house, because right when I went in through the clean out with the snake, it was definitely a little choppy, so I'm curious to see what that looks like. And the water seems, I can't tell if it's the shadow, but it seems kind of dark. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the water looks pretty murky. And I think a lot of that is kind of coming from our pipes under the house.
And what does that imply?
It could be a couple different things. Anytime I get this kind of murky water with this, you probably maybe smell a little bit of this sharp smell. I call it sludge. Sometimes it's just from buildup in the pipes over time, or sometimes it can mean that we maybe have a little crack here and there in the pipe and we got some maybe dirt or other things coming in. But that's why I want to take a deeper look in the house when we're in here. So we're probably getting pretty close to the foundation here. We're 28 feet away from
Now,
the
what's
tap.
that right there we're looking at? That circular thing.
So that's another fitting. That's another
Okay.
place where we connected a 10-foot pipe to a 10-foot pipe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the longest, I think everything comes in 10-foot sticks is what we call it. So
Yeah.
naturally you have connections every 10 feet. But I think this clay looks pretty fantastic in regards to how old the house is. We're 31 feet away from the tap. So we're probably under the grass in the yard or driveway. We still need to locate where that is. Another joint in the pipe there. That connection looks good. But the water is just very dark.
And it doesn't look like anything's running there.
Right. I think a lot of this is just kind of residual from, because I think we're holding a good bit of water under the house just because of our pitch. See there, we just kind of got water sitting. Another joint there. Connection looks good. We're coming up on 40 feet away from the tap. Getting closer to the foundation. This clay looks good. Another little joint there.
What's the like diameter of the pipe?
This is probably a 4-inch pipe.
Oh, that's all, huh? I was
Yeah.
thinking.
And then the city's usually like 6 to 8.
Well, I was gonna say I thought it would maybe 6.
Yeah. Usually residential homes are 4, 3.5 or 4. I think pretty much all clay pipe is 4. 45 feet away from the tap. I haven't seen any red flags yet, which is good. Another joint there. Connection looks good. So I said I like clay. Clay gets a bad rap sometimes because it's old, but I think it holds up pretty well over time.
What do they put in now? Plastic?
Plastic, yeah. PVC pretty much. Solid core PVC is what they call it. Now 51 feet away from the tap. Still holding a little water down there.
How deep is this generally?
It'll tell us once we locate it outside, but if I had to guess, anywhere from 3.5 to 7 feet, in that range. Just depends how deep the city tap is and how deep you need to go to match that depth.
Well, so like this depth here.
This right here is probably not
But
more.
I mean, it's got to have a pitch all the way.
Exactly.
I mean, from here to the out to the main, it almost seems like it has to have a.
So right here, we're probably we may even be a little less than a foot right here
Right.
going in. But then out there, it just depends how deep the city tap is, and it gradually kind of.
But it has to. I mean, they have to build their city tap so there is a little pitch.
Exactly. Yep. I think per code it's a 1/4 inch of fall per foot.
Boy, that's providing the ground doesn't settle at all.
Exactly, and that's I think why we're kind of getting this belly of water in here is because the ground has settled. We're at 58 feet from the tap now. Is it still showing 0 on your end?
Yes.
Interesting. I'll probably do a post after we kind of walk through this. I'll probably do a final scope, and just go back out to the tap and reset all of our. Okay, so here we go. So now right here, this is where we're directly underneath the front wall of the house here, because you can see we're clay there into cast iron here. See how it's a little bit rougher?
Yeah.
So now we're in cast iron. So now we're probably just entering the front of the house over there. And this is what I really wanted to take a look at. So yeah, this is all cast iron. You can see why I don't like cast iron as much, because it gets a little corroded over time. It gets what's called scale.
Yeah.
Scale is pretty much it chipping away at itself. That's what those little chips are on the ground. You can see there. You can tell my camera's bumping around too. So when I'm in the cast iron, I like to really focus on the bottom middle, just to see how big of a belly, and if it's a big belly, whether it's a cavity or not, which means the pipe is open. So it's definitely holding some water down there. Look real close in here.
Wow, so the only way to repair that is to dig up our basement floor.
Yes, sir. And that's the last thing I want to tell people. That's why I always tell people, let's run a lot of water. Let's do preventative cleanings, which you're doing. So I try to make, if stuff's still flowing to the tap, I'll let it ride. A lot of companies will use different things like this to kind of tell you need to do it right now. I kind of roll a little bit different than most people, but so still have that kind of belly in the bottom there. See on the left side there, a little bit of a, hard to tell if it's a crack or just a lot of scaling.
Yeah.
Looks like it's pretty good crack.
It looks like a crack.
It kind of does. It's so hard to tell, but see that kind of on the left right there. Keeping an eye on that. And like I said, you can't really see what's under that water, you know what I mean? Which is the hard part.
Well, but if it's somewhat holding water, then it's not leaking out there.
Exactly, yeah. And that's where I'm like, if it's still flowing, let it ride. I'm really going to be curious to see right inside this clean out under the ground, because that was really the only thing that I felt with my snake where I was like, that was a little weird.
So this doesn't look as rough.
No, this doesn't look as bad right here. We're at 69 feet from the tap. feet. And this looks pretty good, to be honest with you. Obviously, we're holding a little water, but it looked better than when we first got into the cast iron. This is why I like to walk through my videos with the homeowners, as opposed to just doing it, sending it to you, and then y'all having questions.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know what I was looking at.
Exactly. That's why I like to do it this way.
So if somebody flushed something not dissolvable down the toilet, it could get caught in here.
Yep, especially on the cast iron, because that scale kind of serves like little claws in there. But this looks good. This stretch of like 10 feet we've just gone through has looked pretty good. We're at 75 feet now. I'm pretty happy with how this looks.
Oh, you're getting a call from Karen. You don't want to take it?
Nah, I'll call her back after the video. And now we're not holding any water in the bottom, which is good.
And how far are we?
80 feet, so about 20 feet from being back here. All right, so now we're taking a turn. Hopefully not for the worst. Yep, we take a little turn there. That fitting looks good. This pipe looks good here. Coming up on 85 feet. And this is where we kind of started getting more water and more of a belly.
I see more water there.
Yeah. It's definitely a little darker in there, and then we just go completely underwater. So, and I'll want to mark where this is with the locator so we can know exactly, but we're pretty much completely underwater now.
Which is not a good sign.
Not great. Because if you have stagnant water, this much stagnant water sitting on the pipe for a long time, it can start to kind of eat away at it. Then we come out right here. It's pretty murky. See how like dark that water is in there? I definitely want to locate where this is in the house. So we're getting pretty close to being back here. And we're back. So it seems like that bad spot is probably close to, if this goes straight this way, it's probably mostly in this room here, because we start going under. After the turn, and then we're only like probably 5 feet away from being back right here. And then we go down under for about 1.5 feet. And then we're going up the pipe here. So I think that problem spot is probably pretty close to right here. But I'll get the locator wand and we'll kind of mark a couple different spots just so we can know where it is. But it seems like most of our problem is, and I'm saying problem, like we're still flowing. We're still flushing. We're still making it out to the tap. But that spot where we go underwater is probably pretty close to where you're sitting up until here, as long as this is going this way. That's why I want to get my little wand and kind of locate. I want to locate where we come through in the yard. I want to locate where we come through in the house. And then I want to locate this little spot here. So, but now we're out over here. And you can see on my camera, like, how gunky it is and black on there. And I think most of that is kind of from this little span where we're underwater a lot of the way. So, but you got any questions for me?
No, well, you know, you there's a vent pipe on the roof, and it's, you know, it's that way because we're at the very end of the house, and and that stack or that vent pipe is probably toward the middle of the house or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you were to if you were to clean out our sewer or line from there, you wouldn't be getting any of this part here.
Exactly.
Is that right? It would just be going from there out.
Yep. Yeah, because we have all that bathrooms over there.
Yeah.
So I bet that these kind of come together, and then that's probably pretty close to where your vent is, and then we go out. That's why I always like to clean from the back of the house, because you know you get the full...
Yeah, well, this was many years ago, and we had it cleaned, and they went up on the roof.
Yeah. Was it us?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but we've never had them back, because I didn't think, how in the hell, if you're going from there, how in the hell can you get this part?
You can't.
So that's why I didn't ask where they clean out from when they came, but they just went up on the roof and.
Yeah, that's whenever I come to a house, I'm always like, "Where's the back of the house?
Yeah.
Do we have any clean outs back there?"
Yeah.
And that way you can get the whole entirety, because the most important part is underneath your house.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Because you can tear up grass.
I know. I know.
So,
that's exactly right.
But let's do some locating. So
okay.
I want to kind of mark. I got little flags. I'm going to put them in the ground and just kind of mark where different things are. I'm going to give Karen a call back here. But